All right. Cool, cool. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, in this lesson, I wanted to deal with a few headlines, a few topics that I listed in here. All right, economic death, looting and violence, and major droughts. Okay, now originally I was going to deal with just the drought part, but I saw a few others. So I want to start off with this, and hey, Barakathay, how about Shem Yahushai for the spirit to continue another day, and just doing the works. It's a beautiful thing to have that passion and desire. But going in and also that knowledge, as it says in Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Interestingly enough, how things play out in the world whenever something goes on or something is happening, we're able to understand, what's going on, by referring back to the scriptures and being able to decipher these current events by what's written in the scriptures. All right, because we're living in prophetic time. So these things are all related to prophecy in one way or another. So now dealing with this first one here, it says this is a tweet from Zero Hedge. All right, quite a lot of articles that I read or go into often are from zerohedge.com. So they post a lot of good, information. So it says here the Fed would, in order to get inflation down to the 2% target, have to crush the economy. All right, and this was said by Ann Catherine Peterson from BlackRock. Okay, and there was another one that was retweeted where basically I forgot who it was that said it, but they basically said that the Fed is going to do whatever they have to do in order to get inflation back under control, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen quickly. Okay, and as we've gone through, they're at a point where they have to do something, and either way it goes, it's not good. Imagine standing in a like a hallway or a pathway, right? Where there's a path in front of you and there's a path behind you, right? There's only one strip, and you either go to the front, which is jack up interest rates to try and in the hopes that you can calm down inflation, or you go behind you, which is let inflation rock out. Don't raise interest rates on that high level, or raise it only a little bit so that you don't crush the economy. All right, so either way it goes, you got to make that decision. And then the added factor to it is time. So now the walls that you're in, the strip that you're standing in, are closing in on you. So now you're forced to make a decision, or else you're going to get crushed. So that's pretty much where they are right now, and that's why they're letting people know gradually, trying to putting into your mind that, hey, either way it goes, they already came out and said, look, it ain't gonna be no soft landing, right? And we told you that there's a trend. It's not like magic or rocket science. It's a tactic that they use, okay, for damage control, a part of the gradualism, tactic. They come out and tell you something that's not entirely true. They omit certain parts, or they just tell you something that's completely false, knowing that it's false because at a later date they plan to come and unsay that, right? So that's why they knew inflation was coming. They said no inflation was coming. Later on, they came and said, oh, inflation is here. And then they said, okay, but it's only a little bit. It's going to go up a little bit and then come back down, and everything is going to be sweet. We're going to have a soft landing. They knew that wasn't true. But slowly but surely, they came out and said, oh, based on what we're seeing now, it doesn't look like we can have a soft landing. Right? Oh, no, we don't. The fears of a recession, that's not something that we need to worry about. Oh, actually, you know what? Actually, it kind of looks like it is. That's what they do. So once you catch on to these tactics that they use here and there to control people, right? To work on the minds of the masses, it's easy for you to pick out what are they, what are they getting at and what's really going on. So yeah, that was the first part. Keep your eyes on the economy because I mean, understand that it's not really in their best interest to um, preserve or save the life of the economy as it is now, because now, you're still running on the old system, regular paper dollars, cash is still being used, but they don't want that. They want a completely digital system. That means that either they do a complete economic suicide or a partial economic suicide, enough to allow for the transition. So it's not in their best interest for them to save the economy as it is now. They have to do it in a way where they can transition, where the saving of it will be in a transitory form. Hence, Biden signed that executive order relating to the making of central bank digital currencies. All right, the digital dollar and all of that. So they have a lot of factors and a lot of reasons to go in that direction of the digital world. It's now like a digital, not an arms race, but a digital like currency race, or something like that. As they're telling you, they're saying, look, China's doing it, everybody else is doing it, and we can't fall behind. So the next one is here. All right, this is in Los Angeles. Now, as you can see, it says video shows flash mob of looters ransack 7-Eleven in Los Angeles. So now it's just to the point where they just, and I'm gonna play it, and you can see it. They just come into the store, whole mob, and they just start taking things. All right, that's pretty much the point where it's at. And as things get more and more difficult, prices of things go up more. People start to care less because there's more violence and iniquity and anarchy is going on. It's going to become a very common trend. People are just going to be going and breaking into stores, taking things. And I mean, this is 7-Eleven, right? This isn't, you don't have to do this. But what do you think is going to look like when they have to do it, right? What do you think is going to look like when they can't afford to get access to certain resources? And in addition to all of this, there's an article that I didn't post here, but pretty much Canada, right? Listen closely. Canada, matter of fact, hold on. Let me see if I can just airdrop it here to my screen because it's actually a very important article, a step in the direction as we have been telling you. So let me see. And then Lowell, and I'll post it in the live chat so that you can get access to it. If you are watching the video after while it's not live, you're watching it afterwards. If you want access to the links, you have to click live chat, filter it to live chat, not top chat, live chat, and then make sure that you can get the link from there because that's where I'm posting it. I'm posting in the live chat. If I remember, I'll post it in the description box as well. But this is the article here from slaynews.com. And as you can see, it says Canada announces digital identity program in partnership with WEF, World Economic Forum. And whose face do you see on here? None other than Klaus Schwab. All right, I'll keep it respectful. Klaus Schwab. But yeah, basically, as you can see here right now, this is just the beginning. Okay, for the longest, this guy and his goons and the World Economic Forum have been posting and having their ads and their commercials and their articles coming out on their website about this is the direction we want to head in. This man Klaus Schwab is promoting the idea of having technology subdermal underneath the skin. All right, that MOTB system, mindset, agenda, infrastructure. Yeah, he's all about that. So when you start to partner up with this individual right here or with this group right here, that's the beginning of, because that's a part of their plan, right? What do you think, they're just going to talk about it amongst themselves just for fun? No, their plan is to incorporate it into the different governments, the different world governments. All right, and push for that new system. So when you start to partner with them, you're saying, oh, okay, we're gonna form our government under these ideals. We're gonna start incorporating these ideas and these plans, into our system. And this is a big step forward, because this digital identity is going to be tied in with the when you go to make a purchase, right? There's certain purchases you go and they ask you for your card and ID, right? So they want to identify that you are the individual that this card belongs to. This purchase is a legal transaction. So in this case, they want, instead of now you got to search in this part to pull out your ID, then you got to search here and pull out your debit card or your credit card. It'll all be nicely put together in one nice compact grain of rice. And then you're just they scan it and then boom, everything pops up. Okay. So it first starts with, laying down the concept, like this is a thing that we do. And then you start to build on top of that and say, oh yeah, by the way, this is how we're gonna, do it. This is the most efficient way. It's the same thing they did with the VPs, right? The Vanessa passports. They started off with the cards. They knew that wasn't gonna last, but they started off somewhere, and then eventually built it up to QR codes, and then eventually, for some people, they're putting it inside of that charagma. Okay, so it's all in steps. But as you can see, it says the government of Canada has announced it is working on a new federal digital identity program after partnering with Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum to help develop a global, there goes the key word right there, global ID system. Do you know what this means? This means that you cannot do something here and then flee to another country and have safety. No, they will be able to identify and track you everywhere you go. There's going to be no such thing as going off the grid. Okay, everywhere is going to be the grid. So and if you have this ID, it doesn't matter where you go, they'll find you. Okay, they'll find you. So now traveling to another country is going to be just like going to another state. If you're still in the U.S., they can find you. Well, now they want to expand it from a countrywide level, from a government-wide level, to a global level. Canada joins the Dutch government in developing a digital ID system in partnership with the World Economic Forum, okay, or WEF. The program seeks to create a digital proof of identity document for all citizens that is logged in a system used by airports, authorities, and government agencies. So when they say, I need to see some ID, they don't want your card, they want your digital ID. And if it's a digital ID, they got to be something they can scan, because remember, it's logged in the system. So in order to pull up everything from that system, whatever form it's going to be, possibly starting with your phone, but eventually we know where that's going to go, because they don't want you to have phones anymore. They want you to be the phone. Yeah. So whatever it is, they're going to scan that and it's going to pull up everything on you. There's a scene from the TV show Black Mirror. I forgot what season it was, but there's an airport scene where the main character in this episode, they have implants inside of them in their heads, or I think it's actually behind their ear, if I remember correctly. But anyway, with those, they can play back their memories. There's like this little remote that they have. They can play back everything that they've seen. And so he goes to the airport, and the guy at the airport, it's been a while since I watched it, but I'm trying to remember as best as I can. The guy at the airport basically, gets access to this individual's memories, and he can see everything that this individual has done. Where did he check in? What information? All of these. He can see that literally like on like a virtual screen somewhere, because of the charagma that's inside of this person's body. And there's also like different shows and movies that have shown you, this same kind of mindset, the same kind of push. So art imitates life. They don't just show you in these movies for no reason. But now you're seeing in real life, this is where everything is headed. Okay, so is prophecy so crazy after all? You know, are we crazy? I mean, you're seeing the crazy is now popping into real life. You know, and as things get more and more crazy, we're not gonna seem crazy anymore because all of these things, it's like when we were telling people because they couldn't see it at the time, it was a crazy idea, right? But now that idea is no longer an idea; it's reality. See, so now the person telling you about it doesn't sound crazy anymore. Now you can see it for yourself. The question is it going to be too late for you? Nevertheless, it says details about the development of a federal digital identity program. So you have digital currency, you have a digital identity program. Everything is that's the new thing, the digital world. It says were revealed in the Canadian government's Canada's Digital Ambition 2022 report. It says the C19 demic highlighted the need for government services to be accessible and flexible in the digital age. The report published by the government reads, and it goes on down. The next step is making services more convenient to access is a federal digital identity program integrated with pre-existing provincial platforms. And then there's more on there. But when you look up those that are partnered with the World Economic Forum on their website, look at this. This is KTDI. Yep, known traveler digital identity. That's what they're calling. That's what Canada is calling the program. Let me see, where is it at? Yeah, the known, there it is. The known, or sorry, it says here the World Economic Forum's program is called Known Traveler Digital Identity. They want to know who you are, where you're going, what you're doing, how you're doing it. All right. And that's why that's the acronym KTDI. It says unlocking the potential of digital identity for secure and seamless travel. And it may sound like it's convenient at first, but they're going to take it very far. So you can see here the pilot partners. You see Canada, government of Netherlands, all of these different areas here, and then boom, IDEMIA. And I I remember years back we did a lesson dealing with IDEMIA and their digital ID and all of that stuff. Okay, so this thing is moving. All right, it's moving, and if you, whether you like it or not, this is the direction that the world governments are going in. All right, and you're gonna have to make a decision when the time comes. Really, you got to make that decision now, but when the time comes, you're going to be faced with it. All right. So yeah, that was it on this part. I'm going to go ahead and post the article here. All right, so you can get access to it there. I also post this one. All right, cool. So then the next part of the lesson dealing with the droughts, the water situation. This is from BBC.com, and it says, and I'm not really going to read too much into this. Let me just post this as well. All right, but I just wanted to get the point here, right? It says hose pipe ban starts as drought declared in South Wales or Southwest Wales. Now, the thing about this is you have droughts that are happening in different parts of the world. It's not happening in just Wales or it's happening in other parts of the world, and they're seeing it even here in the U.S. Okay, now it says here a drought has been officially declared in parts of Wales after an extended period of dry weather, low rainfall, and low rainfall caused water levels to plummet. Okay. It said, and I'm going to jump down. It says it comes as the first hose pipe ban in Wales for more than 30 years. Also comes into force from 8 o'clock. Now, this is all happening, but it's all scriptural anyway. All right, as we're going to go into, and you're going to see a lot of that, especially here in Babylon, but in other parts of the world, because it's a part of the plagues. Remember that the prophecies don't stop at just the agenda that Esau is going to do. Is going to be a time like never before, incorporating even plagues, natural disasters, famines, droughts, All of these things, and that affects a lot. Okay, so the hard times are coming. This is Isaiah 19:1. It says, "The burden of Egypt, behold." Now, this Egypt is talking about. It's not talking about ancient Egypt. Okay, this is referring to the modern day Egypt, which is America. Okay, or Babylon, or that great city, as it tells you in Revelation the 17th chapter and Revelation the 11th chapter. So it says the burden of, and in Revelation 11:8, it tells you that that great city is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. So it says, "Behold, the Lord Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, which are the chariots, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it, And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians," which is that civil divide. And this is another way of saying what Ezra saw in 2nd Ezra 15, right? That one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands. Well, as it says here, "and they shall fight every one against his brother." So civil wars, class wars. It says, "and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." Verse 3, "And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof." Why? Because of all the chaotic chaos, the chaotic chaos that's going to be taking place. Nobody's going to be able to explain and give you comforting answers. All you're going to be seeing is just bad things are happening. And then there's no way to even have time to catch your breath. It says, "And I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards." Because believe it or not, those that run these countries and these governments, they report, higher up the pyramid, and at the top they worship and consult with spirits. They have mediums, right? Vessels, people, right, that are used as vessels to communicate with spirits, with demons. Okay, so they have different seances and rituals and councils with them in terms of what to do, what sacrifices to make, and all of that. Those things are real, right? So, but the Lord said they're going to seek to those, but that's not going to help them. Verse 4 says, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them," which is Yahushua. Because when he comes, that's what he's going to do, right? He's gonna roar like a travailing woman. He's not coming to make peace with them, right? It says, "In righteousness doth he make war, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron." It says, "Saith the Lord of hosts." Now, verse 5, it says, "And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up." Right? And this is Isaiah 19 is prophetic. So seeing these droughts in America and in the different parts of the world is not, random. It's a part of the plagues that's going to hit this place, or that are hitting this place. It says, "And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up." So the reservoirs, the bodies of water that they depend on, in order to use, because they can get energy from water. They can also utilize that water for other resources, but all of those are going to be dried up, right? It says, "The reeds and flags shall wither." Now, the reeds and flags, these are like plants that grow by water. I mean, obviously all plants grow by water, but these are ones that you'll see, like when there's like a body of water, you'll see them at the edge, on the sides of the body of the water. They grow there. And this is just poetically saying that when you say like the reeds and the flags shall wither, why would they wither? They're going to wither because there's no water, right? So it's just another way of emphasizing the droughts. Verse 7, it says, "The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither and be driven away and be no more," because they're not going to be getting water, and plants need water. And as you have more droughts, guess what? That's going to affect crops because you need water. So the Lord is going to plague this place on all sides, and droughts are going to lead to more severe famines. So everything you're seeing now is just like a preparation for a more negative future, a more negative outlook. Things are not looking to get better, they're looking to get worse. They're gonna have to get really, really bad before it can even start to get good. And that's gonna push the world onto a brink of collapse, of desperation. And with that desperation, these elites are gonna come in and act as though they are your saviors. And you're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna break, they're gonna cave in, and they're gonna go ahead and say, I can't take this anymore, this is too much. And they're gonna bow down and they're gonna worship the beast and they're gonna take his MOTB. But the elect, all right, for certain, are not gonna do that. So verse 8, it says, the fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brooks shall lament, right? Those that fish. And they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Why? Because the waters, they're gonna be, man, I hope, was it Nevada or somewhere? There was a video I was watching of an individual who, he would typically go with his boat, right? And he was like documenting how every time he went to the body of water, it was lower and lower and lower. So when you like, you would drive your car to a certain point, and then you would go past that and then take your boat and then get on the water. But he was saying how every time he went, he had to drive further and further because the water levels were decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. Okay. It says here, moreover, they that work in fine flax and they that weave networks shall be confounded, and they shall be broken, in the purposes thereof, all that make slices and ponds of fish, because the resources that they need to do those jobs, they're not going to have. And that's going to have a negative impact on them. Remember that you have that supply and demand and supply. When the suppliers are affected, the consumers are affected. Consumers depend on suppliers. Suppliers depend on conditions in order to supply. So when conditions are bad, suppliers cannot supply, consumers cannot consume. And then you have riots on your hands. Okay? So things are not looking to get good for this place. All right, next, this is Revelation chapter 16, verse 8. All right, which is one of the plagues that is written in the book to happen, to hit this place. Right, when you read up a couple of verses, another one of those plagues was the grievous sword that is going to fall upon those that take the MOTB. It says, and the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of God, which hath power over these plagues. And they repented not to give him glory. Yeah, and the scriptures tell you that there are different things, right? Punishments that are sent for amendment, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wicked ways. So you having massive heat waves, all right, and it's leading to more droughts. Okay, less rain, more heat, and people see it and they feel it and they complain about it, but yet they continue to still disrespect the ways of the Lord and not repent. So those plagues are going to start off and they're going to amplify more and more until ultimately it's just complete destruction. And then jumping down to verse 12, it says here, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. So a part of prophecy is that what? As the different bodies of waters dry up, another one is going to be the Euphrates. And when you actually look up articles, you'll see that it is drying up. Okay, but it's going to dry up even more. Why? As it says that the way of the kings of the east may be prepared. Prepared for what? Prepared for that war. Because those kings are gonna what? They're gonna come to make war. That's that east, the valley of Jehoshaphat or Yahweh is where the Lord is gonna sit to judge these nations. All right. And lastly, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 12. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So as all of these things are going on, it's going to be hard to maintain societal order, right? So that's that iniquity. When you go into that word, it goes into anarchy. Anarch means without, and key, the suffix means rule. Like you have a monarchy, you have an anarchy. Anarchy is without rule. And when you don't have a rule, you have chaos. Okay. So because of that chaos, because that the lack of order is gonna abound, similar to like a purge like situation, the love of many, the hospitality, the care, all of that is gonna wax cold. People are not gonna care. Okay, they're only gonna care about themselves, how to survive, what's making them happy. Everybody else, you can go find something to do with yourself. That's the energy, and that's why people are committing these wild crimes. You know, this video here, I'm gonna play it. Salaki, I know I went over, but I'm gonna come back now. I'm gonna play it, and as it says, video shows flash mob of looters ransack 7-Eleven in Los Angeles. And this has become like commonplace over there. Oh, they're just taking things. Look at that. Let me just turn this sound off. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is a 7-Eleven, right? Now, yeah, high, very high level. Flood behavior to the max. Look at that. Yep, yep. Just taking the joint. Now, what do you think is gonna happen when this becomes the norm, and you have food shortages, and you have people hoarding food, and you have water shortages, and you have emergency? They done just taking the took the whole thing off, man. And you have all of these things going on. You think BJ's and Sam's Club and all these areas are gonna be? I think these are the employees, or maybe I don't know. But you think those areas are gonna be okay? You think they're gonna be exempt? Look at what they do. She's like, pass me that, pass me that. Look at that. And this is what they're doing over this. When those food riots kick in, they're gonna be doing much more than this. All right. And there's gonna be a lot of fights. People are gonna be getting shot, people are gonna be getting killed. Okay. People stampedes, people are gonna be getting run over, and it's gonna overwhelm the local police. That's why eventually, as things get really, really bad, they're gonna have to declare martial law to bring in order because of how bad it's gonna get. So when your BJ's and your Whole Foods and Stop and Shop start turning like this, you're gonna know fires are gonna be set. It's gonna look like it's not gonna look good, but it's coming because that's what happens when people get desperate, and that's exactly what's about to go down. All right, so yeah, that was pretty much it. I will also put the link to this here for those that want access to it. Yep. But yeah, so these are the things that are going on. These are the current active headlines going on in the world. As the scriptures say, we have to watch as well as pray. Okay, watch so you are aware of what's going on, and pray so that the Lord might have mercy on you and deliver you from these things. Because knowing is only half the battle. Knowing doesn't mean you're gonna make it out. So hey, stay in the spirit. Pray to the Lord for fewer days, because if we're here much longer, I don't know how we're gonna survive this. All right. But with that, Lord willing, you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.